Hello Primary 4. We're going to look a little bit at our maths for today. So the first thing we need to do is put the date at the top of our page. And I meant to say, if you can try and pick up a little book, something like this, any kind of book that has lined pages, it will be very useful in the coming weeks because sometimes I'll want you to write little answers or little things down, and this kind of book will be perfect. So the first thing we need to do is to put the date at the top. So let's do that. Abracadabra. And there it is. Thursday, the 7th of January, 2021. And I've written down our WALT here. And you remember what WALT means? We are learning to. So what are we learning to do today for our number work? We are learning to add numbers with 2 or more digits. So we're just learning how to add bigger numbers. Although this is really more revision for you boys and girls because we did this a few weeks back, so I think you'll be pretty good at this. So in our first example here, example 1, our two numbers both have 2 digits each. Now, the question is laid out horizontally across the ways, but we know that we have to lay it out up and down vertically to help us with our adding. So that's how it should look. And the two units are lined up above and below each other, and the two tens are in line as well. So let's just put a U for units to remind ourselves that those are the units and these are the tens. Now, can you remember which ones we add first? We add the units. Did you guess that before me? And we're going to add 2 units and 3 units, which makes 5 units. And then we're going to add the tens. 2 tens and 4 tens. How many tens does that make altogether? 6. Very good. Now, you notice I'm saying 2 tens and 4 tens because this isn't really just 2. It's actually 20, isn't it? Because it's 2 lots of 10. This one's really 40, 4 lots of 10. And this one is really 60. 6 lots of 10 altogether, so it makes 65. So the next example, example 2, is 21 add 8. And sometimes children get a bit confused when they see a question like this because they think, well, this number must have 2 digits, otherwise they can't answer it. But no, it doesn't need to have 2 digits. We can answer this quite easily. But of course, we have to lay it out vertically rather than horizontally. I've spaced this one out a little bit more so you can see it more clearly, but you can see that all the units belong in the units column. So the 8 units here and the 1 unit there, they all go where they belong in the units column, and the 10 goes over to the tens column where it belongs. And you can't have tens in the units column or units in the tens column, and that's what carrying is for, and we'll look at that later. So 1 unit plus 8 units makes 9 units. 2 tens plus, well, no tens here, makes 2 tens altogether, 29. Now, in example 3 here, I'm going to remind you how to do carrying. And it's sometimes called regrouping. There's quite a few names for it, but we usually refer to it as carrying. So we'll start off as we did with the other questions. We'll lay it out vertically. So there it is laid out vertically. The units are in the units column and the tens are in the tens column. And remember what I said, only units can live in the units column, but if it's 10 or more, it has to go into the tens column. So we're going to add our units first of all. 9 and 3. Now I'm going to scribble it over here. 9 and 3 makes 12. Now remember, only units can go in the units column. Any tens that there are have to go next door, okay? So 9 and 3 makes 12. The 2 units can go here, it can live here, but the 10, I'm afraid, he has to move next door. So he's going to sit over here, okay? So now we have 2 tens, 2 tens, and another 10 that we just brought over. How many tens altogether? 2 and 2 and 1 makes 5. And that is how we carry. So boys and girls, I am going to send you some questions to work on, and they'll be written out like this horizontally. I want you to change them into vertical questions and to answer them as best you can. And when you've done, you can send me a little picture of your work. Happy adding!